Boom, boom. Boom, boom. The world grows more progressive as time passes by. The last movement that swept the world was the gay pride movement and the acceptance of homosexuals. Now the transgender movement has surfaced, and people all over America question what makes a man and what makes a woman a woman. Most stick to the age-old ideal that genitalia determines gender, meaning that sex and gender are one and the same. However, others say that gender and sex differ, sex deriving from genitalia and gender from the brain, sex black and white and gender a rainbow. This disagreement over sex and gender causes the controversy of the entire movement, people redefining something held true in all societies for centuries. Men are men and women are women. People can't hurdle that genitalia doesn't determine gender. They need proof. I need proof. One morning, a student tried to give me that proof. He/she, I don't know, was some sort of transgender, probably suffers from idiocy, and confronted me about the misinformation about male versus female psychology in one of its classes. We debated. I argued they have differences and similarities with decades of scientific proof. It argued they're the same. The debate led to transgenderism. It began by stating,
"People oppress transgenders like slaves. Business owners deny them jobs. Landlords refuse to let them rent. People wince at them on the streets, and even children spit at their feet."
Just awful things. I could just tell by the tone of her voice it was true. I didn't need any more evidence.
The transgender continued by explaining why
Gender and sex are different.
Gender is a social construct that has nothing to do with one's biology or sex. It's completely based on a person's innermost feelings.
It brought me to tears. That thing opened my mind to all the pain trans people suffer. Their suicide rate is 44%, and who causes that? Us. We cause that. So to end all the atrocity, we must stop appropriating gender at birth, by adding the choosing of one's gender to the Bill of Rights. Those who assign their child a meaningless gender shall be arrested immediately. This is the beginning of a long process to help transgender people receive the rights and respect they deserve. Next laws will be put into place to help protect the rights of all trans people in America. Now, these laws will not only protect their rights, but also give them more rights, because they obviously deserve it. They're just horribly oppressed, and we must right this wrong. Even the slightest of misconduct under these laws will result in a punishment that is to be determined. The average American will be notified, however, and educated extremely well on the new rights of transgender citizens, even tested. A failing grade will result in deportation. All jokes aside, transgender people really do have serious issues, mainly psychological issues, especially those pertaining to identity, anxiety, depression, etc. The psychological state of transgender men and women have been studied and reported to be some of the most complicated minds of the modern age. And this is clearly visible with their suicide rate, which again is 44%. Transgenderism is a unique experience to every victim and can even be considered a disease depending on someone's view. So much controversy revolves around this entire issue that whatever you say will always be wrong or immoral. Even what I'm saying when I'm trying to be pretty biased is still wrong or immoral to someone out there or to some viewpoint of it. There's no clear right or wrong in terms of transgenderism. There's also not a true cure for transgenderism either. Some people who are transgender have legitimate psychological defects or issues that cause them to be transgender, whereas other people just feel transgender, and from the confusion of themselves, they end up killing themselves, which happens almost half the time. Anyway, the Catholic Church and most other Christian denominations share the same stance, to just look past the transgenderism and to love and respect trans people as you would any other person, which is a generic statement but nonetheless true.